Hello everyone. This week is a very big parsha, very special parsha. A lot of stuff with Aaron, with the beard of Aaron, as the blessings are coming from the beard of Aaron. But we're going to talk about one short story, and this is the story that we're learning about Miriam talking to her brother Aaron regarding Moshe Rabbeinu, as we call it the Lashon Hara story, even though, as we know, Miriam meant it l'shem shamayim, she meant it for the sake of Hashem, she meant it for the right reason. But as we know the story, while she was talking to Aaron, Hashem just walked in. The Spirit of God walked in. And Hashem was very not happy. Miriam was talking regarding Moshe Rabbeinu, and he was telling her, do you know who Moshe Rabbeinu is? Could you figure who Moshe Rabbeinu is? And this week's parsha, we're learning the way Hashem talks about Moshe Rabbeinu. Great descriptions, beautiful ideas. Who is Moshe Rabbeinu? As Hashem says, he speaks to them as a friend, not as just a prophet, and so on and so forth. Tremendous, powerful words. You can look into it, you can see the parsha itself. One thing Hashem speaks, and the Torah says that, Va'ish Moshe Anav Mikol Adam Asher Pnei Adam. One of the descriptions of Moshe Rabbeinu, of his greatness, that Moshe Rabbeinu was Anav, he was humble, humility, more than Min Adam. Adam means not only a Jew, Adam means any human in this world. That's the way the Torah describes Moshe Rabbeinu. In other words, Moshe Rabbeinu was the trait of humility. And the question is being asked, how could it be Anav like this? He doesn't know how great he is. He doesn't know how special he is. He's the one that's the prophet of the Jews. And as we know, Moshe Rabbeinu was the greatest prophet, and never going to be a prophet like Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu, everything from Hashem, as we learn in the story, everything from Hashem comes through him. He knows how great he is. How could it be Anav, Mikol Adam, from any human, feeling lower than any human in this world? There's many explanations. We're not going to get into all the explanations right now. But one explanation is, it's really based in Tanya, in Igeret HaKodesh, one of the famous letters of the Alter Rebbe when he came out of prison, and he speaks about Yaakov Avinu. But it's the same idea over here. The reason why Moshe Rabbeinu has this humility, he knows he's great, he knows he's special, he knows he's different, he knows it all. And same as you have to have humility, at the same time you can lie to yourself. But what is the idea? Moshe Rabbeinu had humility. Why did he have such humility? Because he was so close to Hashem. When he's so close to Hashem, you feel complete zero. You don't see anything else but none. The real thing that you see when you're close to Hashem is vacuum, emptiness. But this is why Moshe Rabbeinu had his great humility. He was so close to Hashem, he only sees Hashem. And when you only see Hashem, you don't see yourself at all. And that's why one of the explanations Chassidus explains, this is how he felt, more than any other human, of humility. Why? Because the closer you are to Hashem, more humility you have. Well, Moshe Rabbeinu was the closest to God. That's why he felt like a nobody. But he says how we see something very interesting, Moshe Rabbeinu. At the same time, he feels like Mikol Adam, lower than any human being. At the same time, he's the leader. He's the leader. He says the way it's got to be. How does it work together? He feels like a nobody, but he's leading. And that's the real beautiful idea of humility. You got to do what you got to do. You're a leader, you have to be the leader. And when you have to be proud of yourself, be proud of yourself. But deep inside, he knows, who am I? And that's the two opposites. It works together. Yes, he's got to be leadership. Yes, he's got to represent himself as Moshe Rabbeinu. And he's got to present himself, he's like the king over the Jews. But at the same time, deep inside, completely broken. I'm a nobody. The gold around him does not show really what's inside him. As we saw about David HaMelech too, King David, great glory, everything, kingdom exploring all over the world, but at the same time, a broken person inside. Just wanted to share a short story about this idea. We can see how it works together. A story with the Alter Rebbe, the Bahalotcho. I mentioned the story many times. It's a very good point to bring out relating to this. As we know, when he started exploring Hasidus in the world, in the beginning he wasn't a Rebbe, he wasn't a leader, he was just teaching. But he had a lot of followers. I don't know the number right now, but a lot of followers. And finally they decided we got to official make him as being the Rebbe. How do we make him official being a Rebbe? And ask him if he'll sure say no. So they decided they're going to go to the Gabbai of the synagogue when they give him Aliyah on Shabbat, as they always did. Instead of calling by his name, they're going to call him Ya'amod Adoneinu Moreinu B'Rabbeinu. He's a title that you call a Rebbe on. And that's going to be like the decision, he's a Rebbe from now on. But from the other side, they were nervous. Is he going to accept it well or not? Maybe he's going to say, no, what are you guys doing? But decision was made, we got to do it. And who was appointed to do it? The Gabbai of the synagogue, the one that calls up the Aliyot. And as the story goes, I'll make it short. It comes in Shabbat, and there comes the moment to give him the Aliyah, and the whole shul is like, really waiting to see what's going to be. Quiet, on a pin drop. And the Gabbai announces the Aliyah. The Balatani says, Ya'amod Adoneinu Moreinu V'Rabbeinu, as announcing a Rebbe. And they're watching to see what's going to happen. And as I see, he turns around the Alter Rebbe, and he walks over to the Aliyah, and a big smile on his face. Everybody's, wow, amazing. He accepted it. Not only accepted it with love, he enjoys it. Not he really wants to be the Rebbe. And like a stone went down everybody's heart. Everybody was good. To make a long story short, after the tefillah, after the day passes by, he goes into his room in the evening, and as it's known, his son, the next Rebbe, his successor, the Mittel Rebbe, was sitting outside of his room and learning. And he's sitting that evening and learning outside. He hears his father pacing in the room, back and forth. And he goes close to the door. Why is he pacing the room? He hears him crying and weeping. And he's saying, why is he crying? What happened? A decree? Something? What's going on? And he hears him saying to himself and crying, oh, again they call me Rebbe, again they call me Rebbe. He spoke in Yiddish, but I'm translating. And he's like devastated and crying about it. His son is like, what happened? He knocks on the door, he feels so bad as his father, he's like so hurt and crying. And he walks into the room and he says, Dad, why are you so sad? Why are you crying so much? We saw you when we announced you as being the Rebbe. You were smiling. Why are you so broken about it? So he told his son, he said it in Hebrew, you have to be Mekabel Yesurim Ba'ava. The reason I was smiling in there is because I was taking the pain with love, because you got to take pain with love, but I don't want it. That's why I'm crying, because who am I to be a Rebbe? So we see in this story the same idea. In the public, in front of everybody, he's the Rebbe, he's smiling when everybody sees him. Wow, he's good, he really wants it. He's the leader. But privately in his room, broken person, crying, am I really Rebbe? What is this going on over here with me? That's the real beautiful idea of humility. Humility does not mean to go on the street and say, I'm a nobody. Humility means inside here. Outside, in public, a great guy. Perfect, all good. But deep, deep inside, I know really who I am. And that's what Moshe Rabbeinu represented. As being a leader of the people, greatness. But deep inside, and the only one that can vouch what's inside is Hashem. Hashem says, deep inside, is anav mikol ha'adam asher al sha'al pnei ha'adam. Is the real humility. Let's learn the great lesson. What does humility mean? Have yourself all a good, great, beautiful Shabbos.